Hey, we're here at OR. I'm here with Jeremy Collins, athlete ambassador, filmmaker, business owner, artist, father, adventurer. Did I miss anything?
Electric skateboarder.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very, very proud of that.
Boosted boards.
Yeah.
How do you possibly juggle it all?
It's really difficult. But I think a big part of it is the people that I've surrounded myself with. My wife and my team here at Meridian Line makes it all happen and let me be me and do what I do.
So if somebody looked at your life and said, "That's the life I want," what would they have to go to be you?
Step one is sleeping in your van for 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
No, I think it's working hard. Blood, sweat, and tears is really how I got to where I'm at. And a lot of people here at the trade show will come by and say, like, "Oh, we're so happy that they've had such an overnight success." And it's like, no, it's a 20-year success. Like, everything that I've done in the past couple of decades has led to this. But a lot of it has just been hard work.
Of the many different things you do, obviously you're very diverse. You have many, many talents. What speaks to you the most?
We were talking about this earlier where it's someone asked that question in a different way. They said, if you could climb all the time or make art all the time, which would you do? And I said, climb all the time, because it's a cause and effect. So the cause of spending time out having adventures and climbing or traveling is what I love the most. The effect is the work that I do. It's what comes out in response. So for me, climbing and being out having adventures is my priority.
And everything you do, like the clothing company, everything does at the center of it all is the outdoors.
Yeah.
How important is it in everything you do, that it feeds the soul, but also you do a lot to give back and get other people to experience those same things?
Yeah, it's it comes down to story. Like, everything here is built from story. It's not built from a marketing plan or a business strategy. It's built from the stories that I'm having out in nature. And to care about a place, you need to spend time in or with a place. And the more time I spend in a place, the more I start to care about it. And I benefit from people's obsession and love with adventure and nature. And so why can't I benefit in return those places?
Well, and obviously it's like people should buy Draw in the book. It should be in everybody's collection.
Yeah.
You can see Draw in the movie, which you can also buy on Film Festival Flix, but it's also in the festival this year, so be sure to watch and vote. It helps everything that Jeremy does. But let's talk about your latest adventure. You were just in Nepal doing art therapy.
Yeah, that, like most adventures, it started with a question. The earthquake happened in mid-April, and I immediately asked the question, what can art bring to the table? I can write a check and send money and throw money at this problem, but what can I bring personally? And for me, the answer is always art. And so I went there with the question, what can art bring? And the objective was to follow the path of the first responders up to Leproc and the Annapurnas with the first responders. They went with us. And so each village we went to, we're engaging with the locals, and they're so appreciative to have these people come back that were the first ones there to help them. And so in each village, I pulled out a box of paint. And we went to these schools that were destroyed and rebuilt with corrugated tin. And you show up in this village, and all these little kids are going to a school that looks like a concentration camp. And so we came with paint and did what we called a beautification project. Okay. And it was an amazing transformation to see them super skeptical of what I was going to do with a box of spray paint. And then hours later, they're involved, excited, so grateful, so thankful to make their school a beautiful place.
That's super inspiring. Even with kids at home, like we're both fathers.
Yeah.
What are you doing to try to help teach this love of the outdoors to your children?
Well, they kind of don't have a choice with me. I mean, my kids have been literally going on climbing trips with us since they've been in diapers, and I try to make it fun. There's no forcing. If they don't want to climb to the top, they don't have to climb to the top. I never make it about performance. And now my son is 9 years old, and we're seeing the benefits of that. He's finding his own way to enjoy it. When they were little, it was just tunneling around, finding bugs and reptiles and learning. And now they're finding their own way. He's starting to climb and get engaged. And so I'm at that excitement moment, but I don't want to get too excited. And in general, of course, I want him to fall in love with climbing. But then you think about it, I'm like, it's a really dangerous sport. Like, I don't know if I really do want him to fall in love with it.
Yeah, fall in love with just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. Not as much as me, please.
Right. Right. You know, and then road trips. Like, you do a lot of road trips on your own, and it's one thing to have road trips with a group of guys and some buddies. You got to do like a cross-country road trip with your family. What was that dynamic?
Yeah, so Ford Motor Company asked us, you know, we've seen how you've done road trips for a short amount of time. What would it look like for a long, long trip? And so they sent us from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine, and we were in the car with a film crew for 31 days, and we learned a lot of how to not kill each other along the way. You know, they're going to be doing it until they're out of my house. They're going to be in the car with me, and so starting young, it's making that transition much easier. You know, the first few years were pretty rough. I'd wear the noise-canceling headphones, and now it's getting better. Now we have a good time. There's lots of sing-alongs.
And when, did you ever forget that the microphones were on you and have any gaffes or, you know, do anything you shouldn't, say anything you shouldn't?
We did. We were mic'd the whole time, and we had this amazing sound guy, Fred, who his code was NPR. He'd say NPR, NPR, when we'd start getting a little too into some discussion. And we realized, like, it's a beautiful way to live. If you think about yourself mic'd all the time, would you talk about people the same way behind closed doors? Like, you know, so if we had anything snarky to say, we'd usually like type it on our phones and show it to each other because we couldn't talk with the mics on.
Fantastic. So there's personal record for someone who can hack.
Yeah, not that we would say anything snarky.
No,
ever.
No. Of course not. Never. No, doesn't happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, you're a filmmaker. You've been in this industry for a long time. You've been in many, many films. You've been involved with magazines. This online film festival I came to you with, what made you stand up and say, like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'd like to be a part of it.
Right. Well, if you remember, at first I was pretty standoffish. I was like, man, this live experience of being here in a theater, like, that is such an amazing venue to me. And the more I learned and watched as Film Festival Flix evolved and I understood what the platform was, I was really attracted to it. It's such a broad audience, and to bring all the films together that you guys do with one voice is something I'm excited to be a part of.
Cool, thank you. And alternative opportunities, like when the lights came up at that screening we did in Napa, what did it look like to you?
There was a lot of blue hair.
Yeah, you don't usually see that at the climbing festivals, do you?
No. Well, there's a broad audience out there waiting to knit little gifts.
And the cool thing is that they love the film just as much as every climber.
Well, what's interesting is we did the Q&A after, you know, we showed Drawn at this wine festival, and the lights come up, and there's, you know, all these older people, and the questions that they did in the Q&A is something we'd never get at an adventure film festival. So it was great. It was really great to engage with them and have a diverse audience.
Well, thanks so much for entrusting us with Drawn and for being a part of the festival and for being a friend.
Thank you for supporting storytellers.
Absolutely, and be sure, you know, as Jeremy said, there's a story with everything. There's a story behind every single t-shirt here at Meridian Line, so be sure to check out their logo, wear it proudly, and be part of the community.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.